In the late Roman Republic, power was a precarious game. Two of its most powerful men, Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great, once allies, were now locked in a political struggle for control of Rome. Caesar, having just completed his triumphant conquest of Gaul, commanded a loyal and battle-hardened army. In Rome, however, the Senate, led by Pompey, grew fearful of Caesar's ambition and popularity. They issued a stark ultimatum: disband his army and return to Rome as a private citizen, or be declared an enemy of the state. Caesar was at a crossroads. To obey the Senate meant facing political ruin and likely prosecution from his enemies. To defy them meant civil war. The boundary between his province of Gaul and Italy was a small river called the Rubicon. By Roman law, any general who crossed it with an army would be committing an act of insurrection. On the cold night of January 10, 49 BC, Caesar stood on the northern bank of the Rubicon with his 13th legion. He knew the gravity of his decision. For hours, he contemplated his options, the fate of the Republic hanging in the balance. Ancient historians say he was troubled, debating with his commanders and with himself. The risks were immense, but the potential rewards were even greater: the ultimate power in Rome. Then, with a resolve that would change the course of history, Caesar uttered the famous words, "Alii acta est," the die is cast. He gave the order to advance. The legionaries, loyal to their general above all else, marched across the shallow waters. The sound of their footsteps was the sound of a republic beginning to crumble. This single act of defiance was an open declaration of war. News of Caesar's crossing spread like wildfire, causing panic in Rome. Senators, including Pompey, had underestimated Caesar's audacity. They were unprepared for a direct confrontation and were forced to flee the city in disarray. Caesar's advance was swift and largely unopposed. Town after town in Italy opened its gates to him, not as a conqueror, but as a returning hero. The crossing of the Rubicon was the point of no return. It triggered a devastating civil war that would last for years, pitting Roman against Roman. Pompey's forces were eventually defeated, and Pompey himself was assassinated in Egypt. Caesar returned to Rome not as a general, but as its undisputed master. He was made dictator for life, and his rule marked the end of the Roman Republic and the dawn of the Roman Empire. The simple act of crossing a small river had reshaped the Western world forever.